Hey, it's Ryan Hodge here, and I wanted to share with you a simple framework that may support you in your real estate productivity. You see, there's a lot of talk about what gets an agent into a productive space inside of the real estate environment, but here's the challenge. There's so much theory, there's so much hype, there's so many profiteers and gurus out there that are trying to sell you on things that are simple. And simple is not what's going to get it done in today's always challenging, always evolving real estate environment. And so, what I wanted to share with you is the most simple of framework to really explore what it is that you need to do to create, sustain, and build more momentum in your real estate business than ever before. I've been fortunate to have coached and spoken to over 5,000 real estate agents in my career, both broker owners, team leaders, and individual agents all over North America and even into Europe. And the story is the same, albeit the times often change. Real estate agents get too caught up in the transactional side of the business. They get busy with offers, with showings, with home inspections, with paperwork. And what happens is it moves them away from focusing on income generating activity that got them busy in the first place. Being busy does not necessarily mean that we are productive. And so ask yourself this question: what is it that you do on a daily basis to create and maintain that momentous state that we all desire and deserve inside of real estate? What is the activity level like compared to when you first got in the business and started doing those deals, working with those clients, writing those contracts and earning those commissions? What are some of the things that you may have moved away from, and where may you need to go back to in order to create the experience that you desire? Most agents often have this happen, and the results are typical. A realtor or a broker owner or a team leader finds an activity that works, and I'll get to some of those activities in a second. They do that activity, they get a result, which usually results in earning revenue. However, what ends up happening is they stop doing that activity because they're too caught up in the transaction, and all of a sudden that cycle continues, those huge peaks and valleys that we find inside of the real estate environment. And so when I got into the business, I was told that I could be a top producer, whatever that means. If I, picked up the phone and cold called, hundreds of people a day, or if I spent a fortune in real estate, marketing. Guess what? Those things work. So do open houses. So do social media. So do, direct mail marketing. There are many things that can be very, very trackable, measurable, and predictable if we do them. But it's important to find out what activity works for you. The simplest framework to look at in terms of creating a blueprint for success is what I reference as, the productivity blueprint, in terms of what it is that you're going to do to focus on income generating activity each and every day. One, are you spending time doing at least one post on social media? Now, you can really enhance this over time by, putting it onto multiple platforms, using video, utilizing, different lead magnets that are going to bring people into your space. But are you sharing your real estate story? Are you sharing the story of your real estate clients just once a day, even 5 days a week? That's going to be a part of your framework. Two, how are you prospecting? Are you really getting into that space of predictable business cultivation, aka lead generation? Because if you're not, your momentum is going to start to diminish. And when it diminishes, we have to go back to the beginning. My purpose as a coach, as a trainer, as somebody that's developed, hundreds and hundreds of people that have scaled their real estate business to multiple 6 and even 7 figures and beyond, is to really keep you accountable to that momentum based activity. And so let's look at that for a second. The traditional ones are prospecting, such as cold calling or door knocking. The second would be open houses. The third you could look at would be nurturing your sphere, your database, your circle of influence, the people that might buy, sell, or refer you a real estate transaction. Finally, you might look at doing some marketing, but that's trackable. Stuff like direct mail, sending flyers to a geographical area to see if you can generate a result. Many agents fly by the seat of their pants and they don't have anything in place along these lines that are predictable and trackable activities. My favorite activity is what I call Facebook A to Z, and it's prospecting through private messenger. There's another video here on this YouTube channel called the Facebook Funnel, and that's a session that I've facilitated all over North America, even into Europe, on how to systematically attract and engage your audience on Facebook. And you could apply this now to Instagram or some of the other social media platforms. But it allows you to take a look at, on day one, you're going through a specific list. Day two, another list. Day three, another list, and so on, sending simple messages that don't sell. It's proactive in the sense that we're not reacting to our audience. We're not reacting to the market. And so that may be something for you to consider after you watch that 1-hour webinar on this channel. Now, what I don't want you to get into is thinking that you are being proactive and, facilitating a form of prospecting if it's not trackable or measurable. See, if you can't track and measure something, you cannot possibly improve it. And so really examine, for 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, are you prospecting and are you following up? Maybe you're utilizing some form of online lead generation, web magnets, enrolling people into your space where, in the law of fair exchange, people are giving you their information in exchange for some of the value that you provide online. When you start to explore and examine this, what you'll find is that you can take a look at, over a 5-day period, the activity level that you committed to, and whether or not you were getting results. After 30 days, you're going to have a really, really good picture of what's working and what's not. And that may be where working with a coach, somebody like myself, that's going to keep you accountable to the activity, but also dissect from just an empirical data and experience-based perspective, what is working, what is not. Is there something in your messaging? Is there something in your conversion? Is there something where you may not be driving to an appointment that needs a little bit more support to increase your conversion rates, to increase your appointments, to increase your contracts, which of course then increases your closings. And remember this, the element of your initial calls, your initial prospect, your initial message, that's just one piece of the puzzle. The key is ultimately in the follow-up. The follow-up boss type of system is something that we employ here at my own sales team, and many of the people that I work with in the coaching space certainly apply that as well. And so what is it in your back end systems and processes that is reminding you who you need to follow up with, when you need to follow up, because that's going to be a great catalyst to change versus just that initial call. And trust me, there are a lot of people that contact me to work with me. They're making that, initial phone call or an initial message or an initial, form of marketing, but they're not doing the follow-up and they're losing business. And so you can start to really analyze your key performance indicators when you're really exploring this element of what it is that you're doing. So you've got, even one post on social media a day, 2 hours, 3 hours with proper follow-up of really looking at prospecting and follow-up on any of your audience, any of your leads, any of your marketing activity that's direct and that is predictable and measurable. And finally, when you start to explore all of that, you're going to really recognize where you're at in current space and time and what needs to happen in order to go to the next stage of your own real estate productivity. Be sure to watch that Facebook funnel on this video. If you like the content here, like and subscribe to this channel. I'm going to continue to post relevant content, and I'm going to look to serve and support you every step of the way.